Ever heard of the legend of Pistol Pete and the grandest of retirements you would ever see in the world of tennis? In this video, we'll be talking about the lifestyle, biography, and life after tennis of one of the most remarkable and outstanding players in the history of the sport. The iconic Pistol Pete sure proved a worthy challenger to his opponents during his career. It's only natural for a boy who picked up a racket at the age of 3 and basically taught himself to love the game. Pete Sampras is no little name in the world of tennis, with a world-renowned player like Roger Federer, the Swiss maestro himself, having idolized him while growing up, standing to prove that this very man is nothing short of a legend. So sit tight as we bring you to the legend of Pistol Pete. Pete Sampras, whose full name is Petros Sampras, was born on the 12th of August 1971 in Potomac, Maryland. As the third child of Sotirios, or Sammy, and Georgia Sampras, he has 3 siblings, an older sister, Stella, an older brother, Gus, and younger sister, Marion, whom he preceded as the third child. He grew up in a religious family as he regularly attended Sunday services at the Greek Orthodox Church. Pete began his professional career in 1988. His interest in the sport, he would later become a global legend, was spurred as a child. When he was 3 years old, he found a tennis racket in his home's basement and spent hours smashing balls against the wall. As a result of the milder environment in Palos Verdes, California, where the Sampras family relocated in 1978, the 7-year-old Sampras was able to play tennis for the majority of the year. One of young Sampras's idols growing up was Rod Laver, who he met and played tennis with when he was just 11 years old. As a young player, Sampras idolized Laver, as much for his ability to win on all surfaces as how he comported himself in victory. The two shared a common playing style, serve, volley, and attack, but Sampras was bigger and stronger than Laver and could pound his forehand and backhand harder than the Aussie legend. The Jack Kramer Club was where Sampras's potential was first recognized after his family joined. Tennis trainer Robert Lansorp worked with Sampras while he was an adolescent, and it was the same forehand that he learned from Lansorp that Sampras used throughout his career. In a 5-year span starting in 1985, he went from 5'5" to 6 foot tall and refined his game immensely, abandoning his two-handed backhand for a one-hander and ditching his wooden racket for the new graphite technology. He turned professional at age 16 in 1988, launching his career as the number 893 ranked player in the world. He broke into the top 100 by the year's end, but his first 3 years playing in major events didn't produce the kind of results that would indicate future stardom. In fact, his career didn't flourish until 1993, 3 years after he won the 1990 US Open. In comparison to his flamboyant and flashy nemesis Andre Agassi, who Sampras faced 34 times in his career, winning 20 matches and defeating his rival in 4 of 5 major finals, Sampras was all business on the court. "I let my racket do the talking," he consistently told the media when asked why he wasn't more colorful on the court. "That's what I'm all about, really. I just go out and win tennis matches. I never wanted to be the great guy or the colorful guy or the interesting guy. I wanted to be the guy who won matches." Sampras won 14 major singles titles in his career, which was an all-time record at the time of his retirement. A then-record 7 Wimbledon titles, 2 Australian Opens, and a joint Open-era record 5 US Open titles. A right-handed player with a single-handed backhand, his precise and powerful serve earned him the name Pistol Pete. In 2007, he was inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame. But then, nothing lasts forever, and there are seasons and times to things. Pete Sampras, like any other pro who had also been renowned players before him, was bound to retire sooner than later. His retirement was hastened due to a medical condition known as thalassemia minor, which is a genetic trait that sometimes causes mild anemia. This hereditary condition led Pete to retire in early September 2002 at his final pro match, although his official retirement date is recorded to be on August 2003. He dropped the baton, or more appropriately in this case the racket, at the 2002 US Open, which he won, defeating longtime rival Andre Agassi in the final, thus rounding off his professional career on a grand note. There probably won't be a send-off as grand as that. Sammy Sampras, Pete's father, was born in the United States to a Greek father, Kostas Gus Sampras, and a Polish-Jewish mother, Sarah Steinberg. He used to work as a mechanical engineer and a project manager for the space shuttle program. Pete's mother, Georgia Sampras, was born in Salatia near Sparta in Greece. She came to the United States in 1960 as a beautician. She and Sammy Sampras met at the Washington hotel where she worked, married a year later, and have been together ever since. Stella Sampras Webster, Pete's elder sister, aged 52, was a professional tennis player like her brother. She is currently the head of women's tennis at the University of California, Los Angeles. Once a tournament director at the Scottsdale ATP event, and eventually becoming president in charge of the firm handling Pete's business activities in 2007, is Pete Sampras's older brother Gus. He was born in 1969 and is the oldest of the 4 Sampras siblings. Pete's younger sister and the last born of the 4 Sampras siblings, Marian Sampras, born in 1974, 3 years after Pete, teaches at a school in Los Angeles. Moving on to the tennis star's very own family, which started with his actress and former Miss Teen USA wife, Bridget Wilson, whom he met in the late 1990s, while out in LA and had asked a mutual friend for her number. Pete and Bridget first met in a movie theater by accident. Pete told his friend that he would love to meet her, and his friend set them up to meet for the first time in the movie hall. Then they dated for 9 months until Pete proposed to her in his LA house. She said yes. Pete and Bridget didn't have a grand wedding. Instead, they got married in the backyard of their Los Angeles house, where Pete used a huge tent to cover his tennis court. The couple says that the most vivid memory of their big day is how Elton John gave a surprise performance for their wedding with the song "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?" Pete has also admitted how marrying Bridget was the greatest reward he ever could get. Upon Pete's retirement, Bridget dialed back on her career as an actress, and together, they began raising 2 boys, Christian and Ryan. Bridget Sampras, Pete's wife, started acting by starring in shows like Santa Barbara. She further worked in Murder, The Wedding Planner, and many more, but opted to step away from acting after her movie Phantom Punch in 2008. Later on, in the 2000s, Wilson stated that she wanted to be a homemaker and that her family is the most important thing. As per interviews, Wilson stated that she could not bear to be apart from her children and didn't really sit well with her to have to get a babysitter. Christian Charles Sampras, Pete and Bridget's first child, age 19, was born on the 21st of November 2002. On July 29, 2005, the couple were blessed once more with another bouncing baby boy, Ryan Nicholas Sampras. Ryan is trying to walk in his father's footsteps and desires to become a professional tennis player. We sure hope he lives up to his father's legacy. Just like his father started out, he plays tennis a lot and even started playing junior tennis and knows what it means to play the game. He has played team sports till date and is still far from the professional sport, but the journey of 1,000 miles, as they say, begins with a single step after all. His father, Pete, further added that he is happy that his son has a passion for the game and likes it. Due to Sampras's preference for privacy, both of his kids' educational backgrounds have not been shared with the public. The family of 4 lives in Lake Sherwood, California, where they are enjoying an extravagant lifestyle in their $25 million property. By the time Pete retired from professional tennis in 2002, he had established himself as one of the most remarkable players in the history of tennis and iconic figures in the world of sports. After his retirement, many of us wondered what was next. Currently, he is involved in numerous entrepreneurial activities and earns money through them. After professional tennis, he has begun numerous businesses. He has a business in designing clothing for a clothing brand named Hinga Sportswear. Moreover, he has a restaurant chain named Sip Sunset Grill and Bar, including a nightclub named La Vie Bistro. Not only this, but he has also produced documentaries about David Lynch and Deepak Chopra, as well as music too. His company has also sponsored Delta Faucet Company, which is a string sportswear company. Nevertheless, Pete has proved himself and established himself as a reputed businessman. Over the course of his career, though, Sampras wasn't really disposed to revealing much about himself, personal life, and private affairs to the public eye of the media, as he rarely granted interviews, press sessions, or discussed his family matters with the media. At the peak of his considerable powers, Sampras was an exquisite player who had no interest in the celebrity aspect of the job. He enjoyed press conferences, glad-handing sponsor parties, promotional appearances, and other duties that come with being a superstar, just the same way cats enjoy bathing. He has oftentimes declined media appearances, but it was never mean, egotistical, or entitled in any way. It was actually the exact opposite. Sampras frequently replied no, but he did so in a way that made you respect his person. Today, the great Pete Sampras is a few days from turning 51. He is within a few pounds of his playing weight of 170. He still speaks in the same slow, rolling cadences. However, this doesn't stop the legendary Pistol Pete from being a worthy challenger of the title of the greatest tennis player of all time.